Carolina Silver.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost ready for our final match of the night. That's SIMP versus I Love Lamp. We heard a little bit from Baby Halo from I Love Lamp towards the beginning of this season, where a number of the team captains were joining us, and it was a lot of fun to sit and talk with them and get their thoughts on the next season, this season, actually now.
It was actually fun to just go get some burgers with them, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Sit down as a giant group of us and just order the most disgusting cheese and meat-covered fries, animal style.
Oh, man.
So good.
Good times, good times. All right. Well, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, please follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA. Make sure to use that hashtag WGLNA. And a big thank you to a number of guys that have been sending us some tweets and asking some questions as well. We had one recently from Jason Cordova, I believe, asking.
Yeah, Jason was asking, was that the fastest cap this season?
We definitely think it's the fastest cap we've ever seen on Ruinberg. But in terms of the season, we had some fast caps as well, both broadcasted and non-broadcast.
Yeah, we'd have to check the records. There's quite a few this season to go back through and make sure that they're all quite in order in that sense.
Yep, and thank you for the question, and thanks for supporting the WGLNA. It's now time for the face-off between SIMP and I Love Lamp. Both team representatives are standing by. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, how are you?
Doing great. Let's go ahead and check in with Laps from Team SIMP. Now, unfortunately, we saw SIMP suffer their first defeat last week, but then came back against the Cunninghams 5-0. The Cunninghams are the closest team to SIMP in the standings. Laps, do you feel pretty confident that SIMP's going to take this all the way, and we're going to see you in San Francisco?
Thanks for asking.
Does you care to comment a bit on how well you guys played against the Cunninghams?
You want to talk to me about tanks? When you see me in a pub match, talk to me then.
Okay.
Would you care to platoon later?
You guys all have about 2 minutes to look at me.
Okay. Well, I guess Laps is here, so we won't get fined. So let's go ahead and talk to Invade from I Love Lamp. How you doing, Invade?
Shout out
good,
River
doing
Blood.
great.
Shout out to River of Blood. Hey, man, I love the big check in the background. How long's that been there?
Thank you. Oh, man, it's been there for a while now. Hopefully this team can make it all the way up to the top 4 again. But
Shout out
not.
Canada.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. But,
I Love Lamp, you're part of that 6th place tie so far. That's going to change at the end of tonight, or at the end of the night tonight, excuse me. Win over roulette, win over fun gaming. What are your thoughts moving in this match against SIMP?
Well, we're going to give it our all. We've been practicing, so may the best team win, and hopefully we can give them a good match, and hopefully we can take it. If not, then we tried our best.
Invade, it's always great to see you, always great to hear from you. Any words for your opponents tonight?
I just wish them the best of luck, and I hope we have some fun games.
Laps, any words?
You know why I'm here.
Okay, man. All right, we'll see you guys on the battlefield.
All right,
Shout out
sounds
Canada.
good.
How many shout-outs to Canada? I think that was 3 shout-outs to Canada.
Well, he's deserving of those 3 shots.
And also, I think he took maybe 3 selfies.
Yeah, well done. We have to check Laps' Twitter.
Yeah, that was... I was starting to see a pattern. I was hoping it was going to be just different things in series of 3s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So my idea for trying to find a conspiracy or a secret message was completely foiled. I have no idea what he was doing and why.
We might have to crack the code a little bit later. I don't know what's tougher to crack, that code or the defense we may see on Himmelsdorf. But no Himmelsdorf tonight for either of these teams. It's going to be Murovanka and Prohorovka.
It's all part of their clever ruse.
Make sure to place your bets right now, ladies and gentlemen. You can do so in Twitch chat. Badco, our head moderator, is standing by to help you out if you have any questions. You can also check how well you're doing at WGLConnect.com, where you can see the leaderboard for the point earners. The top point earners every night have an opportunity to take home a nice little prize. Top point earners. That's almost a tongue twister, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's like
top
a step.
point earners. It's the puh at the end.
Yeah,
Taking a look at the rosters, Randall. Who are we looking forward to tonight?
Well, we're not looking forward to Laps because obviously he's in a faraway place, and he said we'd only get to talk to him in a pub match. That's the clue. Number 1. So no Laps. Everyone else, I want to see Crimson Corsair shoot things with an Artie again.
I think everybody would love to see that. I Love Lamp is going to have a tough time against SIMP, but it's not impossible. If Timed Out can do it, the mentality maybe anybody can do it. But SIMP is definitely the best team so far we have in the Gold League as we start our final match of the night, SIMP versus I Love Lamp on Murovanka. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
Defending the red team SIMP will have T-32, a T-69, two 1390s, RU-251, T-54 lightweight, and Mac G in a 59-16. On the other side, Lamp will have a T-32 double Pershing, one T-69, a 1390, RU-251, and a T-37. So a 680 point, I think that's hit point lead. Wow, my math's bad. And then you're going to have I Love Lamp, though, with a heavier medium lineup, which is going to perform so well in hull down. I'm worried that if SIMP isn't able to use their mobility well enough, that they may suffer in this engagement. But with Blue Boys Heavy 20 Fedge and Absolute Royal appearing to be in some kind of a hit squad,
Yes.
they may be able to support.
There's a bit of a hit squad coming from I Love Lamp of Aggressor, Akula, and Ex-Soldier, as they are the first tanks to hit the Foxtrot line here.
And shots fired at Droxus is going to lose out in the first engagement and have to back off, giving a lot of that control to I Love Lamp. And as Droxus comes back up, can adjust his approach, better bounce a few shells. But right now, I Love Lamp has the tempo and the control. And what will they do with it is the huge question on my mind right now.
That's going to be the question on everybody's mind, maybe even I Love Lamp's mind, as they try to scout even more slightly where the rest of SIMP is.
And they should be able to figure this out once Baby Halo dies horribly in the south.
That's a bit sad.
It's going to happen.
Well, he is there. He is trying to scout, and Vade's
he'll-
trying to cover him.
He'll spot him, but he's not going to be very happy for very long after that happens. So,
Ooh, Mac G gets hit for 245. There goes half his health.
all right, so that's not bad. I think
And
that was blind fire.
I Love
even.
Lamp's going to open up. Ooh, Adroxus gets hit for 242. I Love Lamp's going to be able to spot more here. Marovanka and Adroxus gets hit again. Crimson Corsair is waiting for him for those 4 shots in his T69.
You know, I got to give it to Baby Halo. He's living far longer than I would have expected.
And Heavy 20 takes down Baby Halo. Adroxus bounces 2 shots at once coming from I Love Lamp. They're able to land another shot here, but Adroxus has such a great angle. But Fight Breast Cancer on the fly gets a shot against Adroxus saying, hey, I Love Lamp, let me show you how to do it. Consequences gets hit, and Crimson Corsair is in trouble.
And now Crimson Corsair, down almost half hit points, not even finished with his reload, is going to have a lot of trouble trying to utilize his tank as he would like to. Now Invade has been able to go in and now retreat after unloading. Aggressor is on the high ground, Ex-Soldier on the cap still, but they don't even need to be on the cap. They just need to receive the counterattack from SIMP well enough. Blue Boys has shown up on the flanks, but I think the damage from I Love Lamp is going to just outpace him now.
Possibly. Blue Boys is low. Heavy 20 gets hit twice. He doesn't even fire a shot against I Love Lamp, but they're waiting for them to aggress and continue to push up against them, and this is where it can get a little bit dicey for I Love Lamp here. They take down Blue Boys' captain.
Invade goes a little aggressive here. He wanted to get Blue Boys, but I think he may not have realized that Blue Boys was about to go down. He loses most of his hit points left at 228. Now Ex-Soldier is going to do much of the same and just charge straight in.
And Mac G can be the next tank to fall. He goes down, so Soldier gets that kill. Absolute Royal. Crimson goes down next. Absolute Royal and Fedge are the last tanks alive. They're up against 6 tanks that are still left alive here.
But look at the hit point spread from I Love Lamp. It's almost the same as Simps, but you have more tanks that are healthier. Absolute Royal is going to be able to do some damage before he goes down.
Yeah, but Fedge has got to land these shots, and Absolute Royal needs to land the one shot against Ex-Soldier. He can't get it.
Nope. Okay.
And Fedge is the last tank left alive, and he has full hit points on his tank.
Well, too many guns on the battlefield to deal with. I don't know if he can even deal with that T-32. Consequences is a problem. Put Fight Breast Cancer with that? Difficult. Aggressor? Not possible. So, I think right now Fedge is going to try and back off, play that defensive game.
Oh, Aggressor's going to fire all shots. Yeah, he will.
Why not? You've got time.
Yeah, Fedge has to play that very defensive game, but he's going to have to move in quickly here. He has no time to waste as there's 3 tanks on the flag cap. He must get a reset within 25 seconds.
And who's on that cap?
It was Invade, Ex-Soldier, Fight Breast Cancer was on there for a sec. Now Aggressor's going to be on.
So all the low health tanks.
Yes. Yeah, Fight Breast Cancer is the one tank that is not necessarily low on hit points.
Yeah, and now
10 seconds remain on the base. Capture here. Fej now pushing up as quickly as he can. He needs to go up and over, not around. Fej, up and over, not around. He's trying to go up and over, but he's not going to make it in time.
He doesn't have...
And looks like base has been captured. They were able to fire a number of shots into Fej. And that's it. I Love Lamp takes the first battle against Simp as the defenders. And they had great hit squad movements as a team.
Yeah, I do, though, feel confused. Simp played so well against the Cunninghams, 5-0. And now they're starting off against I Love Lamp, who are beating them.
Well, look at the time that I Love Lamp pushes in. Remember about those first 2 minutes is when you really want to start to make a move against Simp or Cunninghams or teams that have favored a lot of the defensive play in the past. Well, they made it in about 4 minutes and 59 seconds. So about right after those 2 minutes.
I mean, yes, I guess it has to come down to mostly so Simp.
Yeah.
Simp tries something cheeky. They try to put those multiple light tanks in the south. And while that's a cool strategy and all, it did leave a particularly large weakness to exactly what I Love Lamp was pulling, which was an overmatch on the opposite side of the map. So it's if I want to simplify it like that, it is that easy. But why did Simp do that? What were their motivations to try something like that? That's the real question in my mind, is why they did that. I know exactly why they lost. But
what was this decision behind? What was the reasoning behind the decision that was made by
exactly? Because that's more important for figuring out why Simp lost. Because they decide exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it well before they execute or even the battle starts.
Remember the point I brought up about the Cunninghams being too comfortable with their defensive play and where they were positioning their tanks?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Simp trying something different with their positioning. It didn't work this time, but it's something that they could assess, understand, hey, it didn't work for us this time. We're going to do something else. We're going to do something more standard for us. That's fine. That's what I saw, at least for this opening run from Simp. I Love Lamp is up 1-0 as we move into battle number 2. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
All right, we've got 2 T-32s for Simp. They brought that T-69 from Crimson, Blue Boys in Heavy 20 and 1390s, Fej in that RU, and then Mac in the 5916. On the other side, Lamp is going to bring the same thing. T-32, 2 Pershings, T-69, 1390 RU-251, and the T-37. So not much changing from their last time on this map. Just Simp making it a little bit heavier.
Here's another hit squad. Again, Aggressor, Akula, and Soldier. Ex-Soldier. Moving to the south.
And
Pipe Breast Cancer going west.
And without a T-54 lightweight, it looks like they're going to have to put Fej in that usual position, as Absolute Royal will be playing a T-32 this time. Usually Absolute Royal has played the T-54 lightweight position in the past.
First shot connects. Ex-Soldier is hit for 241.
So as I look at the lineup, the players, and what tanks they're playing, I'm noticing that Simp is in the process of making changes, which tells me that they're looking to expand some people's skills or maybe find more appropriate positions for them to utilize their tanks. Absolute Royal, for example, a light tanker, and one of the greatest light tankers in America that there is and has been since I can even remember trying to keep track of that, is in a heavy tank. Now, I know he's really good at all tanks, but the fact that he is not in a light tank on this map is a big question. It's something we're going to have to figure out an answer to from Simp later on.
Sure. Slowly, I Love Lamp is pressing up and over the crease of the hill, looking for any open shot against Simp, the defenders here. Simp can stay hidden as long as they want in order to have that clock run down. Shot towards its consequences does not connect.
Barely, though. Just a little lower, and that would have been a penetrating shell.
Yeah, I should say it did connect, did not penetrate, though.
Yeah. And now they know where Absolute Royal is. I think I Love Lamp can start shifting and looking for other angles to attack from, leaving Absolute Royal potentially behind.
And I Love Lamp switches towards looking towards the flag cap where Mac G's position is closest to. That's Baby Halo and Invade, and Fight Breast Cancer setting up possibly for an attack run on that section.
You know, you're going to have two angles of approach. You're going to have those mediums, heavy tank, moving in to cut off and find an alternate angle, while the light tanks invade Baby Halo 5 breast cancer are going to, well, they're going to be bait. They're going to be fodder, as Fedge and Blue Boys have solid angles on their approaches. Invade, as he gets closer and closer, is an easier and easier shot. Fedge tries to stay on target, but he is spotted now. And that could mean he's going to take a lot of fire.
Invade's going to take some serious damage. He barely makes it to the house, but Blue Boy's captain goes, "You have nowhere to run, Invade," and he destroys him. Fedge takes a lot of hits. Blue Boy's captain took one. That's a nice little victory for Simp.
I did not realize Blue Boys had such a sinister voice. When did that happen?
When you get grizzled.
That
After
sounds
playing
about
World
right.
of Tanks for a while.
After my time fighting timed out.
Yeah.
I went through a change.
Oh, Blue Boys falls from fight breast cancer. That's the first tank they're able to take down. And look at this push coming from I Love Lamp. They know Crimson Corsair and Adroxus are there, but the setup for Simp is to create a great crossfire, and Fezh is part of that. And they open up.
But there is a surprise flank. Absolute Royal in the rear. And the so swift and dangerous T-32 has arrived after literally minutes.
Fezh goes down. Heavy 20 takes down Aggressor. Adroxus is going to fall back a little bit. Crimson Corsair is on the reload in the T-69. Shots fired on both sides. Soldier falls, Adroxus falls. Absolute Royal now, after the reload, going to get behind Consequences and Akula. But still, the amount of tanks left alive for both teams is starting to fall in the favor of I Love Lamp here. 3 against 4. Akula, though, is low. Absolute Royal is able to land one shot. Heavy 20's on the reload. Absolute Royal looking for another one. He gets it for 250. Consequences and Akula will both be loaded, but Absolute Royal will be alive long enough to take down Akula, and he gets it. Here comes Fight Breast Cancer in the RU-251. He wants blood.
And Baby Halo looks for Mac G. One more shell.
Here comes Heavy 20 on the reload, trying to not, well, necessarily block, but get behind Fight Breast Cancer, and gets it. Consequences takes a number of hits from long range, and Heavy 20 is going to be engaging against this T-32. Still, the amount of hit points left alive for the behemoth of an American tank is going to force Heavy 20 to pull back.
That is the perfect play. That is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to put distance between himself and that tank, get a reload off, and then re-engage. He has the damage and, I believe, the skill to be able to clutch this one out.
And he's got the time. 1 minute and 42 seconds left for the defenders.
Yes, that's just enough time to get a reload and start a fight. Now, I Love Lamp is going to have to chase after him. Baby Halo might be able to keep pace. Consequences cannot. Means that Cap is probably their best option, and that's the only thing they can do to force Heavy 20 to return instead of running off into one of the far corners of the map and having them chase him. But you've made yourselves into bait, meaning you've also told him exactly where you are, instead of being able to depend on him approaching from any angle. I mean, from one angle, north, west, south, east, or up and over the hill. He could come from any of a few directions.
All right, Heavy 20 needs one reset here.
I mean, the kills. He
for
could
these
still
two
get the
tanks.
kills.
Well, he could. He could target Baby Halo first, but he's going to bounce a shot off Consequences. He takes a shot, and there he gets the reset, and
he can stand and fire
he
this.
needs another one. He gets another hit. Consequences, I think, was on fire briefly.
Well,
another bounce shot. Consequences has a great angle, but it bounces against a 1390, and that's a dead tank.
Now, Heavy 20 can just...
And he gets it. Last shot. Heavy 20, the 1390, gets the hit, gets the kill, and gets the point for the team. Simp is tied up 1-1 against I Love Lamp.
I didn't think that he could depend on that last shell. I was going to say, no, Heavy 20. Don't fire. Just close the distance and get the kill.
Yeah.
It's all you need, and you have it. But he did manage to make all those connections at a range that is difficult to make the shot. There was a little bit of terrain right at the bottom of his reticle. But he does it. And that's a solid job by Simp, handling this much better than they did previously, I think. And I got to give it Akula coming in, Consequences coming in, and right onto Crimson Corsair. I like what Crimson Corsair does here in just a second. And that's instead of just continuing to back up, he goes forward. And that's to keep Akula from also going forward and becoming a more difficult target for Absolute Royal to engage upon. Because of that, Absolute Royal is able to get more damage to Akula instead of having to chase him around that corner and chase him around the hill and keep trying to deal with that.
It forces Akula to brawl against that Simp tank. Yeah, really well played. Well, I Love Lamp looked great in the first battle, and they still looked great in battle number 2. I mean, making Heavy 20 have to really clutch it. with that shot. But as we turn the tables with Simp on the attack and I Love Lamp on the defense, I don't know what's tougher for I Love Lamp, being the attackers or the defenders on this map.
I mean, I feel like Muravanka's the kind of map that it doesn't matter, attack or defense, it's going to be a tricky map. It's got so much soft cover, but it's also got enough rolling hills that are quite tall enough, nuisance, even if you're in a T32, a Pershing, or a T69. So no matter what, it's such an untested map for many of these players that the potentials that you have just not quite been touched yet. There's so much more to it.
Battle number 4, battle number 3. They're tied up 1-1 right now. Muravanka between Simp and I Love Lamp. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
All right, so a little switch up here, guys. 2 Pershings from Simp, T69. 2 1390s, 2 M41s. That's going to finish them out with a lighter, faster lineup. Then I Love Lamp brings something much heavier in some senses. Aggressor and Soldier and IS-3s. A 1390 Invade. As always, Invade plays the 1390 almost exclusively these days when he's on open maps. And then 3 RU-251s and a T-37. So IS-3s versus Pershings, 1390 versus a single T-69 and the RUs to finish everything out. This is a lineup that I Love Lamp has brought before, and it has seen some success, and it's also seen some failure. I don't know which to predict because I think it's a coin flip.
Yeah, which to classify. Well, look at the movement coming from I Love Lamp here. They're really heading further north, and they know that Simp is not spotted. They know that Simp has got to have, must have pushed their tanks through the Magical Forest or staying way, way north, and they're banking on them popping out of the Magical Forest here. No. Did you see any spotted tanks?
Nope.
I did not see any spotted tanks either. So Simp has a bit of an advantage because of that. But I Love Lamp is definitely prepared for it.
Yeah, this is a lineup from Simp. What's curious to me is you see this attack and this lineup, and I don't know how I Love Lamp can depend on Simp playing the east side of the map.
Shot fire from the Droxus that will reveal one Simp position. 4 tanks have been spotted on the side of I Love Lamp, though.
And a little bit of fire will be traded back and forth. I think the most important thing right now is Fight Breast Cancer and MacG both going to the far north. This is similar to what we saw, I think, I Love Lamp versus Roulette. That was a thing. And this was the same thing. The same exact tactics and styles. Big mistake from I Love Lamp is they never move in to attack that weaker group. And what Simp does is they send tanks to the north and the south. The east side team does that. Fight Breast Cancer has... He should have some shells, but he doesn't have any tanks spotted. So right now he's just sitting far north, not doing much of anything. At the same time, MacG is... Wow, they are so close to each other.
Akula fires towards Fej, but Fej gets hit by another tank for 110. Invade an aggressor.
Spotted. MacG is spotted. Fight Breast Cancer will be able to engage for free whenever he likes.
Fej takes another hit. Ex-Soldier finally gets peppered. Fej takes another hit for 106 and 109. He's got to find a different spot immediately. But he's still scouted.
Man, this is such a curious situation. Baby Halo, all the way to the south. Looks like he might have to engage upon Blue Boys, and that is not a favorable fight for Baby Halo. But Blue Boys is going to have, I think, an easier time, except firing on the move in a 1390 is not ideal, and he's taking damage for it. So, he will take down Baby Halo, but not before having to go on reload and losing half of his hit points. That could allow I Love Lamp to just push into the forest.
Yep. Consequences, ex-Soldier are hit. There's Crimson Corsair. He's hit, but he fires back against Consequences, and that's very low tier 8 tank, that RU-251.
And now MacG's on the long reload, and Fight Breast Cancer is going to have an easy kill, an easy pickup on a tier 7 before he can shift his attention further south to more important tanks.
Ooh, Invade really wants to take down Crimson Corsair. And ex-Soldier, Fight Breast Cancer, and Consequences take down 3 Simp tanks all in a row. But now Simp's fighting back against the lower tanks here. There goes Consequences. Heavy 20 gets lit up. Ex-Soldier behind him is able to get a nice shot against Heavy, but Heavy's going to move in close against Ex-Soldier. And can he get the kill before the reload? He can.
And now he's going to try to escape. Looks like Aggressor's not going to be able to make that final kill shot. But Fight Breast Cancer is on the way in. Absolute Royal is 1v1ing versus Akula. And this is an about even fight. No, it's not. Blue
No,
Boys
it's
has
not.
shown
Here
up.
comes Blue Boys captain. It's not even at all. But Blue Boys misses 2 shots on the move, trying to get behind Aggressor. And now Aggressor and Akula will still survive. Never mind. Blue Boys captain gets the kill. Aggressor, now the one of 2 tanks still left alive, fires back against Blue Boys and takes him down. Adroxus is in need of some help from Heavy 20.
And Fight Breast Cancer should be able to win this one in a 1v1. He's going to be able to outmaneuver this opponent. But
Oh,
Fight
misses
Breast
a
Cancer-
shot. Misses
Oh.
a shot against Adroxus. Adroxus will be loaded. No, Aggressor moves in and gets the kill. It's up to Heavy 20 with very, very low hit points here. I Love Lamp able to dance around back and forth inside the Magical Forest and get the victory. They're on the defense, so Heavy 20 must destroy both these tanks.
So last battle, he has to clutch it and he has health. This time, he's got about as much damage to deal as last time. But he doesn't have the luxury of having any hit points whatsoever. He's got
No.
54. So it goes to 11, Josh. Hard mode goes to 11.
Yeah. All the way up to 11. Well, if Heavy 20 can get the pounce on Fight Breast Cancer for the initial shot, and if Breast Cancer fires back and misses, and Heavy 20 hits again, there's 1 tank.
Then
He has to deal with Aggressor. All right, Heavy 20 is now going to push up slowly, methodically. There's 1. And there's a missed shot. Heavy 20 gets it.
Aggressor, does he have a shot though? Aggressor does not. And that's going to let Heavy 20 back off. He's got 1 minute and 20 seconds to catch Aggressor off guard once more. That's all he has to do.
Heavy 20 needs 1 high roll against Aggressor, and he's got to do it within 1 minute and 8 seconds. Aggressor is looking towards the position where his teammate was destroyed.
Pay attention to the way Heavy 20 drives though. He has knocked over no trees. He's given no indication of his position, and Aggressor spotted, but Heavy 20 is not. Heavy 20 may have the angle. He's zeroing for it.
Oh, he's got the angle. He misses 1 shot. Aggressor's going to look towards him.
He knows exactly where it's
another
coming
bounce.
from.
Another bounce.
That miss gave it away.
Heavy
Aggressor-
20 has 2 shots remaining. He has no time to reload against Aggressor, who's now falling back into the bushes.
just needs 1. That's all he needs.
What if it's a low roll, Randall?
No, but look, Aggressor knows. He knows the
He's
direction.
falling back. He's falling back. He's
And there's a
continuing
fence
to fall
broken.
back. There's 23 seconds left. Heavy 20 and Aggressor are going to see each other really soon. Heavy 20 is going to be seen before, though. He's going to be right in the sights of Aggressor. He's not looking at the right way.
The Aggressor is spotted. Heavy 20.
Heavy 20 turns. He slides. Heavy 20 does it. He does it. Simp now leads 2-1 against I Love Lamp, and Heavy 20 is quickly becoming one of the favorite performers we're seeing here, not just from Simp, but in the Gold League.
Look, that last shot was, if you look at how fast he was going and the fact that he drifted the final shot, that was the just faith kind of thing right there. You don't make that shot. That's not the kind of that's not the kind of connection that you just make. You have to give it to him. He's on target. Yes, but Heavy 20 just pulled the trigger first and it hit. It's that kind of a situation where you've got 2 people just looking at each other. Whoever pulled the trigger first, that was it. He didn't aim. He just pulled the trigger, hoped it would hit, and this time it went his way.
If there was a super slow motion moment of that 1390 cruising into that area as fast as he could, top speed, sees the IS-3, sees the amount of health the IS-3 has left, and just says, boom, as he fires that shot and lands.
It was.
It can't get any more action superstar than that for Heavy 20.
Although Fight Breast Cancer, you got to give him credit. Earlier,
Yeah.
that one drift kill.
That drift shot was beautiful as well.
Yeah,
it was. We're loving these drift kills coming from these lighter tanks.
I love it.
Heavy 20 did 1,494 damage with 3 tank kills. I am thoroughly impressed by his performance tonight so far. I'm sure both Simp and I Love Lamp are, but it's still anybody's game as we move into battle number 4. Simp is up only by 1 point, 2-1 so far. This will be the last battle we'll see on Merovanka for tonight. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, you got that 2 Pershing T69 lineup with 2 1390s, Blue Boys and Heavy 20, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. Now on the side of Lamp, 2 IS-3s of Pershing, 1390 RU-251, 5 Breast Cancer and Consequences in those, and then a T-37 by Baby Halo. Now, I just had a thought. and that is when I was looking at Blue Boys in Heavy 20, someone I usually think is the 1390 of 1390s for the league is Blue Boys. But because Blue Boys is calling now, he's not putting as much effort into doing those superstar.
Well, his focus is split. You could say he's definitely putting in the effort, but his focus is split.
Yeah, the exercise of being a battle caller is an exercise in multitasking. It's managing those different things at once. However, I would say that I think the natural progression of
Consequences hit for 259.
Go ahead. I think the natural progression of World of Tanks is the point where these guys become a more even-footed force in that way. There's one leader, but only by that status, that rank, and then everyone else does their job and works together in order to figure out the tactics and the response and everything. It's not like a battle caller saying, this is our move. It's everyone knowing that this is the natural move, this is how we rehearsed, and that's what you do. Instead of Blue Boys having that much weight, or, for example, I think it's... Is it Vice Breast Cancer or is it Baby Halo making those calls? I think it changes a little bit for I Love Lamp. So, different teams doing something like that. But I think that once SIMP is able to offload some of that calling pressure, that you'll see Blue Boys be able to come back a little bit and do more of what he used to do in the 1390. I'm surprised that he's gone so much away from it, though.
Invade and Fight Breast Cancer have pushed themselves all the way to the south. They're still on the defense. They're still waiting for SIMP to move in, and I believe that they're more acclimated for the forest being used again by SIMP. SIMP recognizes this, though. They had a number of tanks in that forest, and now they're heading to the north and are clearing towards the west, possibly here, or they're going to huddle in the north for a little while.
And while we have that moment, that little while, top tier is up over Simple Tankers right now, 3-2.
Ooh, top tier is for
Yes.
Simple Tankers. That's a team that went through some leadership changes lately, and we're seeing a better performance come out of them because of it. But any type of changes take a while to get adapted to, acclimated to.
Get a little traction on those.
Yeah. All right, here's the split coming from SIMP now. We have Blue Boys Captain in Heavy 20 heading into the forest. We have Mac G, along with Absolute Royal, Fej, Adroxus, and Crimson Corsair on the northern approach, and Baby Halo's going to get a nice shot against Crimson for 398.
Yeah, that wasn't just Baby, though. There's no way that was just him.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit nearly that hard. That was...
That's a big shell coming from such a tiny tank.
Yeah.
But had to come from somebody else as well, just landing at the same time.
Ex-soldier is who it had to be.
Well, he's trying to land more shots into Crimson Corsair. He's now behind a house. Fej is going to continue to move south. SIMP's a little bit spread out here. And Mac G is going to be in the far north, looking for Baby Halo. 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Not a whole lot of time left for SIMP, but enough
Oh no, is
to
Fej?
creep closer.
Is Fej getting a little too aggressive?
Oh, Fej, 427 on that hit.
Too aggressive. No support fire from SIMP. No tanks to punish Ex-soldier for firing into him. It was an interesting scout run. It does verify some safety of that route, but I think the cost in hit points is a little bit heavy.
Adroxus, Royal, and Crimson Corsair now moving up.
And now Mac G down the one line is going to be in a flanking position. That's going to be annoying. Or not. Or, yeah, or not.
Or not. There's the burning husk that's left of Mac G right now.
Yeah, I thought that I thought he was going to get through, but he did not break on through. And so...
Well, SIMP, the rest of SIMP's trying to break through now, though, is going, who is breaking through? Something's happening. Ex-soldier takes a hit. Fej jumps up for a little bit here, and the Mac attack may have been unleashed against I Love Lamp.
Oh no, Fight Breast Cancer is getting 2v1. 21390s, Heavy 20, and Blue Boys right into him. But there's support fire. Blue Boys.
He's low. He's taking hits. Fight Breast Cancer is able to take down Blue Boys Captain. Heavy 20 gets destroyed from consequences. This is straight up traded crossfire from I Love Lamp, and they are shutting this map down.
That was an outplayed situation. Fight Breast Cancer just did the perfect maneuvers so that Heavy 20 could not afford to stop for him. And Blue Boys, I think he just got wrecked so hard that this is just I Love Lamp playing beautifully. I mean, all of the connected shots, all looking at the right direction, the right time, and Fight Breast Cancer staying cool.
Fej follows Adroxus, trying to cover the retreat of Crimson Corsair and Absolute Royal. The 3 remaining tanks now huddled together. I Love Lamp knows this. They have not lost a single tank yet, and they're going to start to move in against these 3 tanks. There goes Baby Halo. There's 1 tank down.
I mean, it's the tier 6.
Yeah.
It doesn't have many hit points.
There goes Adroxus. Absolute Royal fires back against Consequences. Oh, Akula's going to push up. And Akula could fall before he fires back against Crimson, and he goes down.
I don't think he cares.
Absolute Royal falls. It's 1 shot left for Crimson, and X-Soldier.
Aggressor? Which one? Who's got it? Is it Invade?
X going to give it to you. Takes down Crimson Corsair, and I Love Lamp ties it up 2-2 against Simp. And we're going to move on to Pro Heroica, where I Love Lamp will be on the attack. Simp on the defense.
This is not bad. I think the IS-3 setup is solid. It does not lack, certainly, in that damage. I mean, take a look at that. Those connections on Blue Boys. There's a few misses in there, but at that range, you're going to. Now, Fight Breast Cancer, the way he used Blue Boys as a shield was exactly what he needed to do. And Heavy 20 couldn't afford to continue the engagement. He had to hope that someone else from Simp was going to get the kill, and they didn't. And that certainly came around to bite them.
It definitely did, but I really appreciated I Love Lamp's really dedicated focus firing of seeing Blue Boys captain, recognizing they were able to get 1 shot, and then boom, they take him down.
Yeah.
Very quick focus fire, snapshotting really of getting over to that location as quick as they can with their turrets.
They have tanks where you can shift fire like that. IS-3s, you can just shift your gun around, and once you're on target, easy. And they had just long enough to be able to shift those guns around, fire once, and start looking back. The higher fire rate tanks could afford to dedicate a little bit more time to that engagement and shoot Heavy 20 and Blue Boys a few more times.
Well, Pro Heroica, Simp will be on the defense at first, and
That's good for them.
Well, it is, but looking at Simply Irresistible's kind of placement on Pro Heroica, I really don't see a specific personality of how they play on this map yet. I've seen some kind of northern engagements a number of times, a little bit of hill play here and there, but overall, Simp still could be the favorite team as we're tied up 2-2, though.
And they probably have plenty of strategies up their sleeve ready to go.
Yeah, but if I Love Lamp can take at least 1 more battle against Simp, then that's definitely a great boon for their team. Now, if they take the entire victory, oh my gosh, so crazy, amazing. But just trying to evaluate a team, first time in the Gold League versus a team that's been with us since Season 1 and has won a championship. I Love Lamp is really holding their own. Well done so far, but it's not over yet. Pro Heroica, Battle 5. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 2 T-32s, 4 RU-251s, and a T-37 sorry, I was looking at the RUs and I just started thinking roulette. That's for Simp, the red defenders. Blue attackers, I Love Lamp, with a Pershing T-69, 1390, 3 RUs, and a T-37. So, slight difference. Lighter and faster from Lamp, a little heavier and slower from Simp. Makes a lot of sense with their lineups. And I think everyone and their mother who plays against Simp is going to rush the middle on Pro Heroica. Honestly, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that this strat just works. Guys, it stopped working when Simp stopped playing the strategy. It's just funny to see.
Oh, there's a number of blind fire.
And now, T-32s, as you'll notice, Simp sends them to the east side of the tracks when they play their strategy instead of to the west side, because they don't want to lose them to this strategy that kind of fell out of style, that came back once Timed Out decided to up and over versus Simp on proc, and it worked. Now Simp has learned that they should probably change their habits, and well, it's working out okay for them, at least so far. They haven't lost any hit points yet.
No, they haven't, and it's, again, up to I Love Lamp as the attackers to be able to aggress against Simp. And if they're able to control the flag cap areas, and not necessarily the physicality of their tank positions, but the coverage of where the tanks can fire, they will own this. Akula gets hit for 209.
Nice shot. Saw one from Adroxus. Now, what's strong about Simp's placement is they have T-32s, of course, which do ever so slightly better than Pershings and T-69s in hull down. T-69s have sloped turrets, which are not all that much thicker in some places, but what they are is they're heavily sloped in some places, and so many shells will bounce off if connecting with that area. But those T-69s have a number of spots on the front of the turret that will still catch a shell and it will still pen, and it won't bounce because it's just that thin. So T-69 doesn't do as well as T-32 in short in hold down. It was a little long-winded explanation.
Hey, man, I enjoyed it. I'm sure the audience did as well. If you guys have any questions about World of Tanks, if you've never played it, you're watching the broadcast for the first time, send your questions on Twitter or send them directly to me at Clutch08 or at Ruukil, R-U-U-K-I-L, or at WGLNA. We always appreciate the questions and always happy to explain a little bit more about World of Tanks to newcomers. Aggressor gets hit a little bit. Invada had been peppered a little bit. Akula has been hit. And then Mac G is the one that's taken the most amount of damage out of all tanks so far.
Yeah, and now we've got what looks to be the setup from SIMP trying to prepare themselves for the counterattack that's going to be coming in. Looks like a Droxus is going to dive.
Down periscope, up periscope.
Actually, right now we're at up periscope.
Or up periscope.
Target found.
All right, Baby Halo gets hit. That's going to be the reset. Akula fires towards a Droxus, does not connect. 96 seconds left on the flag cap. Invade is hit for 210. SIMP now looking for the rest of I Love Lamp to push forward against a Droxus. They're going to be ready for this attack if they can get the cross shots in time. Blue Boys, however, is hit. He's going to pull back, leaving a Droxus to fend for himself, at least for one flank. Absolute Royal and his teammate Heavy 20 Crimson Corsair will try to punish I Love Lamp after they circle around the tank. Fight Breast Cancer is tracked. He's taken down. And Ex-Soldier and Invade will be the next targets for SIMP.
Yeah, Blue Boys, they're taking a lot of damage. Absolute Royal taking just a little bit. And now Ex-Soldier's going to try and play that distraction. Invade going to try and stay alive just long enough to get a little bit more damage out before he goes down to Heavy 20.
He does go down. Ex-Soldier trying to hold against these 4 tanks in the center. That flag cap still under duress right now from I Love Lamp. Ex-Soldier looking for another approach in that RU-251 coming from the train tracks. Doesn't see it from the north. Heavy 20's getting punished as he's looking for a target, and Mac G's going to have to move and spot or look for Ex-Soldier in a different section. Absolute Royal is loaded. Looks for Ex-Soldier. Lines up the shot for 223, and a track shot coming from the north side of either Fez or Blue Boys captain, and there goes Ex-Soldier. Really picking apart I Love Lamp tank by tank by tank.
And look at Aggressor's position. He's trying to put shots out, gets one into Crimson, is going to have to back off and get on the reload, but he'll have enough time to finish that reload and perhaps even escape for a little while before he has to worry about Absolute Royal coming in. However, because it's on reload, poor Baby Halo doesn't stand a chance.
Now, Absolute was hit, but Akula and Aggressor are going to be covered by the north side of Fez and Blue Boys captain. And Mac G, along with Heavy 20 and Crimson Corsair, are going to line up shots against them. But here comes X Consequences. He takes down Heavy 20. He's going to move up against Crimson Corsair, but Mac G sees him. Mac G is able to get the kill after Crimson takes down Consequences. It's 4 tanks against 2 in advantage of SIMP.
That was a little bold, I'd say.
Bold, daring, but appreciated nonetheless.
Maybe not. You could have done that better.
Well, I did not say that.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
I did not say that. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, you know, if a kid colors outside the lines, you're still gonna hang it up on the fridge, right?
No. You better paint the Mona Lisa, or he doesn't get to sleep inside.
We're starting to peel away a little bit of the layers of Randall to see what his childhood was like.
It's not what my childhood was like. Okay.
Just joshing with you.
Yes, you are, Josh.
Yes, I am. Absolute Royal holding the line in the center here against Aggressor and Akula. The attackers must destroy all the remaining tanks or capture a flag in 49 seconds. The possibility to do so is astronomical. That Randall and you can go into kind of what was going wrong, what was going right for both teams throughout the entire battle here.
Yeah, sure. I Love Lamp decided to attack, and then SIMP defended, and then I Love Lamp decided to attack more, and then they failed at that. And then SIMP took fire, and I Love Lamp took fire, and in the end, SIMP connected more shells than I Love Lamp.
Well, that's the basic approach, but everything you said is completely true, so I can't argue. I can't argue against it.
Boom! I get the points.
I think the key was the opening run from I Love Lamp being too concentrated in the center. SIMP had overtaken the west side completely, and from then they had map control, map domination, and were able to secure the rights of victory here in battle
I think that's the white flag.
Number 6. Oh, dang. Absolute Royals trying to line it up. And that's it. Time is over. Simp gets the victory, and they're up 3-2 so far after Battle 5.
On your statement of the opening move from I Love Lamp, don't think that really messed anything up. I think it was a, a null result or a null, it was just null. It was nothing. There was no negative, no positive, nothing. They got to go to the west from it. They were able to move in and attack. I think where the mistake was thank you for Fight Breast Cancer Invade and Ex-Soldier moving it. You see Fight Breast Cancer go down.
For the one guaranteed tank kill, but then losing 3.
Exactly. It became a trade, tier 8 for tier 8, and then a lot of hit points lost for I Love Lamp. So it was less Simp doing anything excellent and more I Love Lamp having the pressure on them to make something happen.
Sure.
And then not able to just make Simp work hard enough for it. They were in position, they knew it was coming, and I Love Lamp through no surprises. It was all exactly what you would expect and something that you and I have seen 100 times before.
Oh, more than that. But yeah, I agree with you. The reason I bring up the opening run is I always look at that time towards the end for the attackers. If they had spent 2 minutes trying to scout the center section and there's nothing of use that they're learning, but they still stay in the same spot because they're comfortable and complacent, you lost 2 minutes.
I mean, that was the fastest way to start the map.
Well,
right up into the middle.
Yes.
You're gonna, if you don't find anything, maybe you might actually waste time. But
of course, you're completely right. But just sometimes these teams rely too much on information gathering in the center where there's no information to gather. You have all the information that's necessary for that time. Move on.
Well, give them a few seconds, Josh.
No, not saying that's the case for I Love Lamp. I'm saying this is a broad statement for teams, is why I bring up kind of that opening run.
Okay, in that case, yeah, sure.
Okay. Simp is up 3-2. I'm glad we got that solved. Let's go ahead and move into battle number 6 between our two teams. What do we have for tanks?
Why was that even an argument? All right, so we've got two T-32s, 5-4 RU-251s, a T-37. That's Simp. Lamp. T-32s, 2 of them T-69, 2 RU-251s, E-25, Y E-25, and an M41 Walker Bulldog.
All right, Simp will be on the defense once again. Looking at the movement coming from Absolute Royal and Adroxus. As MacG was hit on the side of Simp here. And going for more center section. Akula takes a hit for 229.
I am so scared for Akula right now, because if you take a look at Simp's position, they've got a lot of tanks in the high ground. It's Crimson Corsair, Heavy 20 all up there, Fedge, Blue Boys, and they're going to head right down the one line, which I Love Lamp is leaving. Well, actually, I have to honestly give it to I Love Lamp. They recognize where their opponent is, where the strong position is, and where they need to leave.
Yeah, they're recognizing that we can't stay in this central section of the map where there's no cover. We got to move back, but Simp's going to take huge advantage of this as Consequences gets lit up for 2 hits.
It's about to be a lot more hits.
Okay, secure a 3rd. None of them are track shots, though. There's a 4th. Consequences is hurting, but so's Heavy 20.
There's the return fire. We really needed that from I Love Lamp for them to stand a chance in the rest of this. Now, look at the cap, though. Simp has been drawn out of their zone and now must take back their own cap. I don't know if I Love Lamp intended this or if they're just happenstance into an amazing position, but this is great for I Love Lamp. They can very quickly take this as long as they don't get off the cap. Who just got off the cap? I think Fight Breast Cancer just got off the cap.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why. It's one of those mistakes we talked about earlier of getting off the cap because you think, oh, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. It's the Bambi effect.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
All right, Ex-Soldier. Consequences are staying near the train tracks here as Simp is ready to go up and over, but Adroxus takes a little bit of damage there. And Heavy 20's hit again.
The way you just said Adroxus. Adroxus?
Adroxus? Randy?
Yes. Sometimes you yell that to me in the office off broadcast.
I do sometimes when people are looking for you. Blue Boys gets hit along with Adroxus, and now they've got to get the reset. 2 more seconds left, and they get it just in time. But at what cost? Heavy 20 is down. There goes MacG. Adroxus is solo. Absolute Royal No, Fej gets the kill. Absolute Royal's looking for another kill against X-Soldier, but he's getting destroyed.
One more.
Down that
That's all
one
it
line.
has. Akula might have it.
Oh, no. Akula's able to get the kill.
No.
Sorry.
I agree, Josh. Oh.
There's 5 O's in that one. I thought he was going to get X-Soldier. I was looking forward to it. Can he get the last shot to stay alive? Not the case this time.
Crimson just destroy the building.
2 tanks
Drive through
are
it.
left for Simp, and they're trying to get those resets. But look at this. I Love Lamp really turning Simp on their heads in Battle 6. 10 seconds remain. Crimson Corsair gets destroyed. And there goes the last Simp tank. I Love Lamp ties up the series 3-3. And as I mentioned before the broadcast and during the broadcast, if I Love Lamp can get 3 victories against Simp, it means they're in a good place as a team, and I stand to that statement.
He did say that. I can verify. And we probably have some footage of it somewhere, I'm sure.
Maybe. I love this play coming from I Love Lamp, dictating what's happening on the map overall. They recognize that Simp is all the way to the western side, and I Love Lamp goes, well, guess what, boys? We have a flag cap that has coverage of the village, and it's going to force him to cross the train tracks, set up Akula to the north. He does so. They continue to rain fire down to the south. I love this. I love this play from I Love Lamp.
I love Lamp too. And I think that I Love Lamp could have won it faster and easier. However, damage is nice, especially if it comes to a tiebreaker, where damage is the factor that decides whether or not you get to choose your side.
Mhm.
So I think that I Love Lamp electing to get off cap and fight it out, while risky and a little time-consuming,
And a little bit egotistical, perhaps.
could pay off. I mean, it did pay off.
They're like, hey, we could win this Simp, but we're going to fight you for it.
I don't know why people would ever do that.
I don't know either. Don't do that.
That's like
Go for the guaranteed win.
the only time I've ever felt comfortable in that setting, getting off the cap and going for the kills, is
So when there's 6 tanks on your side, only 1 tank on the enemy side, probably?
or you can outplay them at such a level
Or you
that
know
you
you can-
can't mess it
you
up.
can win the battle faster if you kill that 1 tank rather than wait the extra 20 seconds to get the flag cap.
Or if you want to push them off a cliff.
That's very, very intimidating, especially for the next battle. You're like, I just fell off a cliff from these guys. All right, battle number 7 between Simp and I Love Lamp tied up 3-3 in our final match tonight on Pro Heroica. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
All right, so Simp is bringing a Pershing and a T-69, 1390 played by Heavy 20, of course. Absolute Royal and Blue Boys and RUs, and MacG and Fedge and Bulldogs. On the other side, I Love Lamp defends with 2 T-32s, and it's pretty much the Simp strat. It's the same strat Simp brought.
They're definitely heading towards the east. X-Soldier is going to be cruising on down to the south.
Opening scout run, that's dangerous. You might get shot.
Fej? Oh, hello. Missed shot from X-Soldier. Fej is able to land a shot, and the rest of Simp are going, no way X-Soldier came this close to all of us. He gets tracked. He gets tracked. He gets lit up. He's in trouble.
Rip.
He's trying to move back to his team, but Blue Boys takes a hit for 335. They can't be as aggressive to chase X-Soldier. Look at this serpentine path.
You just gotta keep dipping and diving and ducking and dodging and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he was able to do so to still stay alive here.
And now we've got kind of the line in the sand halfway through the map. Simp doesn't dare cross it and decides instead, let's draw a new line, east to west. Or rather, north to south, splitting east to west. I spoke wrong. I'm bad at this.
Same
Just
direction.
that part.
All we
Just
got to do is follow the minimap. Minimap always points north. All right. Consequences and Invade and Baby Halo are now taking position along the railroad tracks to punish the movement and the retreat of Simp. But Consequences was not able to land a shot.
Now, Josh, you brought up an interesting point. Does the minimap always point north? Could we find evidence based on the position of the sun, other elements of fauna, that would indicate otherwise?
Oh,
that north would actually be a different direction?
It's quite possible, but that makes everything really confusing. I always rely on the minimap to be pointing towards north.
Yes, but
Where
what
it's
if
placed.
what if it wasn't?
I don't want to open up that can of worms.
I'm gonna open up that can of worms.
I don't know who's braver, I Love Lamp or you right now.
Probably me.
Probably. 4 minutes, 44 seconds left. Plenty of time for the attackers, which is SIMP now on this map to push in against I Love Lamp. And they're looking for any opportunity to do so or to make them come to SIMP. And that's why MacG is on the flag cap. And that's why Fight Breast Cancer just took a hit for 250 in the face.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you take it to the face? I mean, if it was $250, I'd be like, sweet, do it.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe I'd charge more, actually.
Yeah.
I could probably get more than $250 to get punched in the face. What? Have you never conceived that?
No, not really. Invade's not going to cross the railroad tracks.
You're just like, you're dead silence, and I'm like, Josh, do not tell me that you would not put a price tag on getting punched in the face.
I'm trying to go through the 28 years of my life where I have, 10 of those were competing in martial arts and having been hit in the face many times.
Yeah. We've all taken a few.
Not that pleasant. It's not pleasant for the amount of shots that are ringing true against I Love Lamp right now as they're crossing across the center section of Pro Horovka. Droxus takes a hit for 217.
And MacG's about to take a hit for 300 even.
That was coming from Invade?
Yep. That's Invade up and over. He'll be able to peek back up 316 for a trade of 209 damage.
And Invade and Consequence is able to take down MacG, and they are relatively unopposed. They do take one shot, but Blue Boys and Absolute Royal decide to leave their position and head to the south.
And now you've got Crimson Corsair, Adroxus, engaging on Baby Halo, Aggressor, Fight Breast Cancer, X-Soldier. Actually, all of SIMP is heading south to engage on those tanks, trying to leave the T-32s behind. They want to make them a non-factor in this fight. And it's working a little bit, just for a little bit right now. They are bringing those hit points back towards their favor. Few missed shells, every single missed shell actually, is another moment that I Love Lamp has to bring this one back for them and to win it. But Aggressor is taking so much damage right now.
Well, Invade and Consequences know that they're not being fired upon, so they're going to take this time to move, and they're going to move up against Adroxus and Crimson Corsair. And they have one shot against Adroxus, and they're going to get the kill. Heavy 20 takes down Aggressor, though. And Crimson's going to move in front of Adroxus to absorb these shells.
All of the autoloaders have wasted so many shells trying to get these hits. Fedge on the long reload right now is out of the fight. That's going to leave Adroxus and Crimson Corsair together against T-32s. Tanks which do win in an even fight, especially the holdowns. And now, Consequences can back off. Yeah, he's a little low, but Invade's sitting at 1,047 hit points, and Adroxus, well, he's nearly gone.
And there he goes. Akula was punished slightly for that, but that's 3 tanks down for SIMP and only 1 tank down for I Love Lamp. Blue Boys gets hit for 274.
Now Fedge 295. This one just sneaks right into the top of Surrey's. Doesn't have enough hit points to play with. Everyone today is being left with sub 20 hit points. Like less than 20.
Yep.
Consistently we're seeing this today, or maybe I'm just noticing it more today.
Those tanks are either crafty enough to get out of the firefight just in time, or shells are not landing from the opponents. Consequences is very low, 1 shot remaining. Heavy 20, Blue Boys, Absolute Royal, and Fedge, the last bastion of SIMP here after losing 3 tanks. Still in the fight, and still, based on their skill and experience, a threat against I Love Lamp as Fight Breast Cancer takes another hit, but there goes Heavy 20. 3 against 6.
X-Soldier comes in at the right time. He's got the flank. Blue Boys does kill Fight Breast Cancer, but with X-Soldier where he is currently, I'm thinking we're going to see there's Blue Boys.
Yep.
Next, Absolute Royal or Fedge. Doesn't really matter. I think they can kill who they like. But Absolute is spotted. And he takes 218. Focus fire will be coming in shortly as everyone tries to find connection. X-Soldier will take a little damage.
Absolute's able to dodge significant shells here, back and forth. Lands a shot against Akula, but here comes Invade. And Fedge, the last hope alive for SIMP, is down. And I Love Lamp now leads in the series 4-3. And the only way SIMP can win this now is in a tiebreaker.
This is, again, one of those situations where once you say that, I realize what we're actually looking at. We're looking at SIMP, the team that has been
dominant, destructive, all-encompassing, all-powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent almost.
Let's find more words. Yeah. More words that make them seem like gods.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much did it.
I think you definitely blew that one up. That was what we thought of them. Now, I feel like we hold much of the same respect, but at the same time, there's like this conflict saying, Wait. Simp is supposed to be able to 5-0 people. They 5-0 the Cunninghams. Why aren't they 5-0ing I Love Lamp? What is different today than against a team which we rate so much higher than I Love Lamp? I mean, it really is mind-boggling to think that.
Well, we said the exact same thing about timed out, and look what happened.
Yes, we did see that.
So Ruenberg looked fantastic for timed out. Prohorovka's looking pretty good. Murovanka looked good for both teams. Prohorovka's looking good for, I can't even believe it, I Love Lamp against Simp.
Yeah. What can we tack this to? I've listened to the comms from the timed out versus Simp game. I sum a lot of what Simp did and a lot of Simp performance up to it being a really bad day for Simp. Like, you could hear it in the comms.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they played individually poorly.
Energy, attitude.
All of that was not where it needed to be. And for timed out, that kind of a team, they turned everything around and they were in the right place that day. You could hear the energy, you could feel it in their comms, and that's the contrast which allowed timed out to overcome Simp.
Real quickly, let's focus on one thing that has changed for Simp, and that's Mac G no longer being the caller. Blue Boys is. Is that a factor? I cannot accurately say yes or no yet. I don't think it would be due to the experience of Blue Boys captain and him calling most of this season for Simp, I believe.
Yes, that you could at least hear it in the comms.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's his inexperience that's leading to some errors or lack. I think the most important one is maybe a lack of calling at times.
It's still anybody's game. As we move into Battle 8, Simp could come back and tie this up and take us to a tiebreaker, which would be the third tiebreaker of the night.
And Josh, I think you want to see this. What kind of a matchup is that?
That is a, as we used to call it, mirror matchup.
Matchup. Took the opportunity to
Thank you.
to do that one because I
Thank
know
you.
it's been a while for you, Josh.
It has been. It's been a while for the fans as well, and some people are like, will you just please stop doing that? All right, here's a tweet coming from Nick Kellen. He says, there's only one way to solve this dispute. Rookhill and Clutch must fight to the death to see who reigns supreme caster.
Josh, I challenge you to blindfolded ping pong.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm
To
really
the
bad
death,
at ping
though?
pong.
How is that going to go to the death? Aggressor gets hit the opening run here.
The death
from
of the
Love
tiny
Lamp.
plastic ball that you have to hit back and
Oh,
forth.
that's
Once
gonna
one
take
of us
forever.
accidentally breaks it or something, that's probably going to be the point.
Oh, look at this up and over coming from Simp. Oh, they're going to punish aggressive and ex-soldier. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. Blue Boys captain's going to take the brunt force of that, and they take down aggressor first. Blue Boys will continue to move as fast as he can, but he falls. Ex-soldier gets that kill. Fej and Crimson Corsair now going to chase this one tank that's been left alone, but look at the return fire coming from I Love Lamp. They are not going to allow Simp to take this for free, and they're starting to punish Crimson Corsair.
And look at the hit points. I Love Lamp starting to catch a lead and get some real momentum. Fight Breast Cancer is going straight at Veg. Now, that could turn out to be a mistake. Crimson Corsair, Mac G, and Heavy 20 are all right
And
there.
Mac G is so close to falling, but Fight Breast Cancer gets that kill, and Crimson and Heavy 20 are now moving up, and Heavy 20 falls. Ex-Soldier has a beautiful shot. The placement from I Love Lamp to punish Simp has looked phenomenal tonight, and it continues to do so. They have only lost 2 tanks so far. Crimson's now going to get surrounded, and he is almost dead, and he goes down. 2 tanks remain for Simp, and I Love Lamp is so close to doing what we thought was the impossible last week. Timed out proved us wrong, but can I Love Lamp be the first team to beat Simp in a full-on victory?
Now, these C-32s are going to take on Invade. We got 466 done. Once Adroxus and Absolute Reload, we've got that kill. But it's not over yet, Josh. Not even close. Baby Halo, 680 hit points. Ex-Soldier, 487. Akula is the sitting on full health, 1,200 hit point tank. Yes, but these are 2 T-32s. This is Adroxus and Absolute Royal, and they're on the attack. If they get into the proper positions and we see I Love Lamp make some kind of huge mistake, that could change it.
Yeah, but because they're on the attack, though, the defenders have the time advantage.
That's the big point about this one. Simp does not have the advantage of the defender, and they do not have the advantage of mobility. We've seen so many times before where light tanks have been able to just defeat T-32s. But I want to stress this. It's not over yet. I Love Lamp still has to close this. It's close.
Oh, Absolute Royal gets rocked by 2 hits. Akula hits 1 for 475, and he gets it. Only 1 tank remains as Adroxus for Simp with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Okay. That changes things.
Yes, it does.
You know, I'm just sitting here like, hey, there's still
it's
a
not
chance.
over. We're not calling. No, there's no fat lady singing right now. We're not calling the game yet.
Yeah.
But the astronomical chance of Adroxus in the T32 being able to hold this is so slight.
Yes.
So slight.
Now the gelatinous yellow substance is getting cold.
All right, Akula is now going to cross over the train tracks, or at least get close. He's going to do a little high five to a couple of those Russian tanks on the train.
T-34s.
The T-34s, yeah.
Yes. One of the most iconic tanks ever. And now Baby Halo has shots onto Adroxus right into the engine compartment.
3
And a
minutes
ammo rack to
remaining.
Adroxus. Oh, I don't know if he has kit anymore.
Oh, no. That's such a long reload time for Adroxus.
Oh, that's so painful.
Akula knows it. He's going to come from behind, and he's going to fire on the move.
Bounce.
And one more shot, and Adroxus will go down. And that's it. I Love Lamp does it. I Love Lamp beats Simp 5-3 in this series. Impeccable play from I Love Lamp.
It really is. Simp is not seeming nearly as dangerous as we've judged them to be earlier in the season. I think everyone's starting to catch up. I think every single team in this league is starting to catch up because with Simp leading the way and kind of being the team to show us how it's done, everyone else gets to watch that. And then after a while, you start to see them gain a little bit more momentum than Simp. And so now teams are starting to catch them. And where Simp had miles and miles on their opponents, hours and hours and days on research that others did not, I think that I Love Lamp is a lot closer to Simp, and Timed Out's a lot closer to Simp. Cunningham's, Hammer Time, all of these teams are so much closer than their points.
It's not that they're reaching up and dragging Simp down. They're lifting themselves up to where Simp has been for such a long time.
And when we look at the standings, we see that Simp is ahead by such a large margin.
8 points.
Yeah, numbers that say no one will touch them. But that doesn't mean that they're that much better by those points. They are better than most teams, and they're incredibly good, but I think the gap is so much closer than it ever has been before, than it has been in the previous 4 seasons. We haven't seen this many teams able to really compete at the highest level of the WGLNA.
An evolution has happened tonight, Randall. It began last week on Tuesday, and now it has come full circle. And that was the question that we've always been trying to answer this season. Who can defeat Simp? Timed Out happened. Some people like to dismiss it as a fluke. Some people like to say, hey, it's only a tiebreaker victory. It's not a full victory. Tonight, the question has been fully answered, whether you accept Timed Out or not, that I Love Lamp has defeated Simp. And so the question for the season, into the season finals, is who's going to be our champion. And all of us were going to say Simp, 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 Simp. And most of us will still say that. Most of the audience will still say that. Now a little bit of doubt's going to creep in because of what we've seen these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it shows that there are a number of teams in this league who do not sit at the top 1, 2, 3, who compete at that level, who can achieve at that level of play. And all they have to do is put in the effort and follow their fundamentals. They have to also understand that Simp is just like anybody else. If you shoot their tanks, they still lose health. If they catch fire, they still burn.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, they still don't bring an automatic fire.
If you cut me, will I not bleed? They're still human. But you talk about effort. The effort from Heavy 20 tonight was phenomenal, incredible, fantastic. And this is going to go down as one of the best series I think we've seen in a long time, just because of how close it was, not only in the very last seconds with Heavy 20, but overall from both these teams. Really impressive play. And I'm glad that I Love Lamp at least got 3 victories. For them to defeat Simp tonight, I'm baffled. I'm baffled in the best way, and we all love Simp. We're very impressed with Simp, and they are one of the best teams in North America when it comes to World of Tanks. But tonight, I Love Lamp was the better team.
And they were, and I love that you mentioned that Heavy 20 deserves the respect for his performance tonight, because there were members on Simp who were really stand out like Heavy 20.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and run through the matches that happened tonight, looking at the scores. First off, Fun Gaming lost a Timed Out in a tiebreaker, 5-4. Timed Out with another tiebreaker victory. We'll have to figure out later on tonight if they still have a chance in the playoffs. After that was the Cunninghams versus RBIS. Cunninghams won in a tiebreaker victory. Elevate defeated Simply Irresistible 5-2. And I Love Lamp defeated Simp 5-3. Impressive. Let's go ahead and take a look at those matches that were not broadcasted tonight. 5-0, Hammer Time Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, and then Noble 5-3 over Penguin Mafia. Then we move to Roulette against Full Potato. Full Potato takes that one 5-1. Roulette still not able to quite get back into their groove. And then Top Tier 5 over Simple Tankers 2.
That's a big victory for Top Tier in comparison to the struggle they've been having about 2 weeks ago, and then that victory over Simple Tankers tonight. So well done to Top Tier. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as soon as they're ready for all of our teams here. They are ready. First off, Simp still in the lead, and now they have a full loss. They still have 31 points. Right behind them, look at that. Hammer Time has taken over the second position over the Cunninghams by 1 point.
Wow, that's impressive. Let's see if they can keep it.
Yeah,
that's
let's see if they can keep it. Cunningham's in third. Full Potato now in fourth place. Our standings are going crazy right now,
Yeah,
Randall.
Simple Tankers has dropped all the way to 7th. Now, real quick, I Love Lamp at 21 points has risen from the 6-7-8 tie. Elevate at 21 points has risen from their 6-7-8 tie. Simple Tankers has joined I Love Lamp and Elevate with the 21 points, but they have fallen from their 4th place to 7th.
From a 6th place tie, it's become a 5th place tie right now between I Love Lamp and Elevate and Simple Tankers.
And then Fun Gaming, of course, is 18, which is a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to rank 9. Simply Irresistible is tied up with Fun Gaming along with RBIS in that 8th place spot. Top Tier in 11th place, followed by Noble, then Roulette, then Timed Out, then Victoria's Secret, and following them, Penguin Mafia.
It is baffling, isn't it, how the standings will just
it changes
go crazy
like that. In one night, it can change, and we still have 3 more match nights for the season, which is quite impeccable.
This is getting better and better every night. I really am enjoying these matches more and more. Seeing Simply Irresistible Elevate finally playing well. Seeing Simp and I Love Lamp, where finally teams are able to compete with Simp. I'm not saying this because I don't want to see Simp succeed. I really like Simp. I used to want to be and was on their team for a little while. It's just seeing someone at that level and seeing that level of competition just finally rising to a place that I'm feeling so much more content to watch. It's beautiful.
It's great for everybody. It's great for the league. It's great for North America. And it's great to have teams that can compete against Simp because that means they can work together as they move on to the Global Grand Finals in April. Very well done. Let's go ahead and take a look at the matches for Thursday night. That's going to be Nimble versus Simple Tankers, Roulette versus Timed Out, Elevate versus Hammer Time. That's going to be a great series.
Oh, yeah.
And RBIS versus I Love Lamp.
RBS I Love Lamp. That should be fun.
Yeah,
if RBIS is starting to play better and better and better, then I want to see that. If they're not going to bring that A game and they're not going to be on the upswing, it's going to be pretty one-sided, I think.
Well, I'm sure I Love Lamp is going to be riding a bit of that victory high for a while after that victory over Simp. The finals will be happening in San Francisco March 15th. That's a Sunday in downtown San Fran at the Folsom Street Foundry. You definitely want to make it out there if you're close by, or even if you have to travel, you definitely want to make it out there. We'll have some goodies, and we'll have $171,000 of a prize pool to award our best teams. The top 4 teams are going to be joining us in San Fran. Also, I will not be here Thursday. I will be at the DICE Summit moderating the esports panel. Please tune in. You can follow me on Twitter at Clutch08. I'll give you the times. That'll be streamed live over Twitch. Wargaming will be there. Mo from Wargaming will be there. It'll be a great time.
Yeah, and we'll keep it, I think, a little bit of a secret.
A little bit of a secret who's going to be in my chair on Thursday night.
Maybe it'll just be me and then a recording of me or a hologram in the same way they did Tupac.
I'd watch that. I'd do my best to watch that.
I'd also wear the same attire. Yes.
That'd be a little bit confusing.
No.
Maybe a pin on the other side.
No, not this same attire. The same attire that they did with
Tupac?
with hologram Tupac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to that, Randall.
It'll be great.
Thanks for watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of everybody here at the WGLNA, good night and good game.